We're going to take a quick look at some of the more common color palettes. Before we do that, let's take a look at how color works. Let me explain the differences between the RGB, CMYK, and spot colors. Color is actually a perceived response of various wavelengths of light and the way in which they're transmitted to brain. Here's how it works. Human eye has two different receptors, rods and cones. Rods help to distinguish an image in grayscale, and cones allow the brain to perceive color hues. There are three types of cone within the human eye. They have the different sensitivities to different wavelengths of light. The first is sensitive to red light, the second green, and the third one to blue. When a specific type of cone is stimulated, the brain perceives the corresponding color. A color model is a numeric way to define those colors within the color space. This color model is defined by a series or set of numbers, usually in 3 or 4 values from each other. In the most generic sense of the definition, color space is a range of colors that one device, such as an eye, printer, or camera, can detect. By adding a mapping function to these colors within color space, you're assigning a footprint or boundaries to the model. Any color that falls outside these boundaries is considered to be out of gamut. There are a range of color models to choose from when you're creating graphics. Some are based to optical components of colors, and others are based on how people feel color and are related to each other. We'll take a look at just a few of those. RGB model is an additive model, which means that you are adding a varying amount of red, green, and blue. You can start with black and then you add color. This forms the RGB color model. The main use of RGB color model can be seen on the computer monitors on television screens. The gamut of RGB model is rather large compared to CMYK, so does a preferable color model to use when creating images that can output to digital image devices. The CMYK model is a subtractive color that is a comparison of cyan, magenta, and yellow. When all three primary subtractive colors are laid down on the piece of paper, they block white light from bouncing off the medium. All these colors have been suppressed. The eye sees black, which is the absence of color. CMYK usually cannot be used alone because of imperfections in the inks, the material you're printing on, and other limitations of the process. True black or true grays cannot be created by mixing inks in equal proportions. The actual result is muddy brown color. In order to get them pure black and grays, printers accomplish this by adding a black ink indicated as K. Therefore, is referred to as four-color process or CMYK. Spot colors are created with custom inks that are typically used when that's not possible to create a specific color using CMYK ink, or when color consistency is required. Spot colors can be used to indicate specific area of a design that requires a treatment or effect that needs to be applied to printing job, such as applying a gloss lacquer to an object or using a specialty ink to achieve a certain effect by indicating an emboss on a job. Another use for spot colors would be when applying metallic inks or specific colors such as Coca-Cola red or Pepsi blue. So how these all fit together. You've just learned about different color models, RGB, CMYK, and spot, but how do they map to each other? in any relation to visible color spectrum. Why did these colors shift when printing sometimes? You'll note how many colors fall outside the gamut here. When translating from perceived color in nature to what the digital camera would capture and to what printer can print. In these colors may be affected when covering from RGB to CMYK, and this is the reason why color management is so important. In CorelDRAW 2021, there are over 170 different color palettes, and the bulk of these are composed of RGB, CMYK, or spot colors. When we create a new document, there is an option. I'm going to press Ctrl N, and there is an option for primary color mode here. You can choose CMYK or RGB. This will dictate the palette you will see on the right hand side of the screen. I'm going to select CMYK and go ahead and give OK. And here you have a palette, color palette, CMYK based on the right hand side. Now if I create a few objects on a page, say these, I'm going to use tab key to cycle between these. I'm going to click on this, tab, click here, tab, click. And I'll apply these colors to object, and you'll notice as I did that, I have created a color palette along at the bottom. This is my document color palette. Now one thing specific with the document color palette is that it travels with the document, so that if I open this file on another system, I'll have the document colored palette with it. Now if I was to import a raster image, I'll be able to add those colors to the palette as well. I'll just import one image real quick. Say this one. I can drag. Now on the left hand side of my document color palette, there is a triangle here. Here, palette, and I can click on go to palette, and within I can add from selection, or I can choose refresh. You can just go in here, palette, refresh. It will remove the previously added colors. So if I happen to have deleted some of the colors, they'll drop out of the color palette. I haven't done that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click yes, and puts up a dialog box that will allow me to specific number of colors from this image. I'll keep that as 256, and I'm gonna go ahead and give OK. And we can see here that I have a new document color palette of 256 colors of the images. Now we'll take a look at how to create a custom color palette based on the document. Before that, I'm going to show you a couple of little tricks. If I click on this element and hold on to a color, I'll be able to see a variety of different colors based on hue, saturation, and lightness. So I can click on any of these colors. So again, simply click and hold, long press, and you will be able to see this little flyout. And I can pick the color whatever I want. So click here, and there we have it. Now one of the little tip is if I have the object selected, and after that if I hold the control key, I can click on the color palette, and it is going to add 10% of the color each time I click on it. So I've clicked on green 3 times. I'll click on purple and do this. Click. It's adding that color to that to give me a mixture of the colors. And we're going to take a look at creating a custom color palette based on an existing document. Now there's a couple of ways to create color palettes. From the Windows menu, you can go down to the Dockers. And in here, I can choose the palette. Click on there, and you'll have this option of palettes in my Docker. I'll click on this plus my palettes. I'll click on the plus sign here and select new empty color palette. I'm going to give this a name, maybe color CLR, save, and I have that CLR here. Now I'm going to select the palette. Click on this pencil down on the bottom right hand corner here to edit. Here I can add color, and then in this box I can either click on color views, add color viewers, or color palettes. If I select color viewers, I can pick any of the color from here, color wheel, and so on and so forth, and then click OK. It is going to add that color to my palette. I'll come back here, add color. I'm going to choose this color palette, maybe spot colors. It's this. Okay. I can choose this one and go ahead and give add, and then I can create the color palette like this. So as you can see, it is very easy to add colors to the palette and create custom palettes with all the colors that you want. Let's just add one more color, add color, and from color viewers, maybe this one, okay. You just go ahead and give OK. And there you can see we have our color palette on the right hand side with these 3 colors in it. Now another way to create a custom color palette is that we can do from either an entire document or from a selection. So if I select the element, I'm going to go down to my Windows menu, go to color palettes. I'll just click this. Okay, Windows menu, color palettes, create colors from selection. Create palette from selection, and I'm going to give 1, 2, 3 name, and there I can have this. I can call this blue. Maybe I just want to reduce it to 50. Yeah. I'm going to give OK. And there we have another color palette, right like so. I can dictate how many colors I want to add or remove from this palette as well. So it is as simple as that. What is color management? Within CorelDRAW, color management is a process that lets you predict and control color reproduction regardless of the source or destination of a document. It ensures more accurate color representation when a document is viewed, modified, shared, exported to another format, or printed. It goes on to say a color management system, also known as a color engine, uses color profile to translate the color values from one source to another. For example, it translates the colors that are displayed on the monitors onto the colors that a printer can reproduce. Color profiles define the color space of monitors, scanners, digital cameras, printers, and applications used to create or edit documents. Modifying color management could be done from the Tools menu and down to Color Management. You have the ability to set the global defaults for the color management as well as the document specific color management. For more information on this, check the help file. We're going to tackle a challenge of using a logo that was created, and then we're gonna make a business card out of it. So let's start by creating a new document. Control N. It's gonna give me a new document dialog box. I'm going to give this a P card name, and I'm gonna go to my size. I'm gonna give it number of pages 1, maybe 1 CMYK. And it's going to be printed in digital printer, so RGB is fine. Go for the page size in here. I already have business card in here. It's going to give me 3.5 inch to 2 inch, and the orientation as a landscape. Resolution is 300. That is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and give OK. Okay. So I'm going to recreate the logo real quick. .5 to 1.5. .5 to 1. Just unlock this. 0.5, 0.5 to 1.5. It's going to be 1, I guess. 1 would be sufficient. Just drag it out right like so. Control D. So we'll select hold shift and select weld. This one, and weld. Okay. This one will stay on the top with that gray color, no outline. This one will be a copy. Control C, Control V. Use the shape tool, click and drag, bring it down. This one will be black color. There's the front of page. This will be needs more proper done. Okay, this one. Okay, Control C, Control V, make a shape tool, click and drag. There. Maybe I want a white, maybe this one. And this one, Control C, Control V, take it back down, scale it up, holding shift, and order of this the back of the page. And there we have our hat. And I want to set this no outline fill. Text CSU. This one is going to be proc. Use my shape tool and click and drag it down. And drag this right down. White. And that's set. I'm going to give Control G. Maybe and that. And here I have this one, no outline. Okay. Set this, Control G. Scale this down. I click and okay, so that's gonna be our logo here. And I'm going to keep this Chimney Sweep United title here. This text tool. Click. Chimney Sweep United. For consistency, you gotta keep that font going on. Select this object, maybe unshift it here. I'm gonna take a font here and click 1, 2, 3 Highway Street. New York. This is going to be my address. I'm going to scale this down. Be to 14 point. Click here, 14 point. Enter. Change the font to maybe use Roboto. I'm going to add one more page here. One more page. Maybe I'll just bring this down, make this a front guy. This down, page P for shortcut to bring it center. And this one P, center. Scale that up. And 330. Bring it up a bit. There. Go to page 2, Control X, Control V. That is going to be the address. I'm going to Control D. This one for email address. So maybe I want to give CSU help @csu.com. Give Control D. And I'm going to give a number here. Maybe I'll just give +001 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. and I'm going to go ahead and give OK. So this is going to be our information, and I'm going to create an ellipse here, and let's create a triangle in this polygon and bring it down. Three-sided. Delete polygon, three-sided. Bring it down, three-sided. Okay. 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 And I'm gonna bring this together along with this guy. Scale this a little bit. And combine. Or maybe I just want to weld them together. Zero 0.43. I'm going to 0.04. Copy this. Copy. Okay. And let's check in the wireframe view if that overlaps. Doesn't overlap much. I'm going to just bring this down quite a bit. Yeah, that kind of overlaps properly. Alright, that kind of works properly. I can just select this and this. Go back to my normal enhanced view. I'm going to weld. There's going to be a little circle here. And it's going to be a center one. So bring down the stroke to 1 pixel. And keep it right in front of here. Scale it up a little bit. That is going to be the icon for my address. Next we have the mill. So mill is going to be quite simple. So next we have to give it rectangle star polygon, click and drag. Alright. Now you have to just make this down, and select here and click and drag. As simple as that. So that's our mill. Control G to group these. I'm going to set this right below the address one. Hold shift and maybe scale it down to match this. And I'm going to give this 1 pixel as well. There's going to be a phone here. So a phone will be let's check with the common shapes. Do we have a phone here? Okay, we don't have a phone here. That's not a phone. Okay, so let's create one for ourselves. Phone here. Control D. Control C, Control V to copy this, and I'm going to place it here, right, like so. Select this, weld, and 1 pixel. Delete. And take a circle here. 1 pixel. Objects, align and distribute, and align and distribute here. Line to objects. Okay, center. Okay. And scale this down and place it here, right, like so. Hold shift, maybe scale this up to match the width. Maybe you want to scale this up as well. Yeah, just group that and scale this up, right, like so. Again, this is a simple one. You can also create properly one here. You just align and distribute. Gonna have an equal spacing. Okay, I'm going to select this, shift 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold this, bring it down. Okay, and this guy, they have to be equidistant as per the rules of the alignment, right? Okay, and there we have it. Our backside. Maybe if you want to add a little bit of decoration or maybe creative stuff here in this take, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Double click that. Double click here. Let's click and drag here. Go to fill, attractive fill, and maybe I want to add a texture a bit. Use this one. Maybe that's too much. Use a different texture. Look at this kind. Check out for the good texture here, and that would work. Black one, this one. Yeah, good. Okay, let's go ahead and use that one. Let's send this order to back. For the page, and I'm going to give this color to none. Set outline color. Bring this down. Make this bigger. Center. You want to keep this black one as well. And use this, click and drag. Click and drag. Let's click this one and drag. Okay. Simple little tricks and tips would do. And here. So we have our visiting card ready here. First page and last page. You can go ahead and export this to PDF and print this out. If you have a colored one, you can also try with different colors as well.